What's up, Bulldogs? All right, I want to talk about how nothing that you think is going to make you happy is actually going to make you happy in life. This is something that I struggled with for a long time. I still struggle with this problem from time to time because as humans, we always think that, if I get this next thing, then that is finally going to make me happy. And even if we hear this, right, you've probably heard this message before, but maybe I can tell it to you in a different way. And maybe from my experience, you can learn that this is actually true, or maybe just start to realize this. But like I said, I do struggle with this myself because I have thought this from time to time, even knowing all the things that I know. But we always think that there's something that's going to come along, something that is going to make things better for us. So, let me tell you a little bit of a story here, okay? When I was younger, all right, when I was really starting out in this world, the best thing that I could imagine would be to get a job as a programmer, right? If I could be a programmer, if I could write code for a living, that would be just wonderful. It would be the most amazing thing in the world. I would be so happy. And so I worked hard. I learned how to code. I enjoyed coding. I eventually got this first job. And this first job was not actually a coding job. It was a testing job, but it was with Hewlett Packard. And I had actually gotten onto the job because the two guys that were running this test team over there, this was sort of this contract team, they were into this game called EverQuest. And in the interview, they asked me if I played EverQuest. I said no, but I was interested in it, and I was interested in it. And so I was talking about building a new computer, and they were psyched up about having someone else to play EverQuest with them. So they basically hired me, and then I did play EverQuest, and it was fun. But long story short, I was pretty excited about that job, but I wasn't a programmer. So I remember I was working in testing on these printers, and we get these printouts, and I learned printer languages. I learned PCL and PostScript. These are two printer languages. And I figured out how the tests were failing, and I sort of reverse engineered what was probably happening in the code. Like, where were the printers messing up? What commands were the printers that were supposed to be executing on these printer languages, where were they misinterpreting it? And I started sending this information to the developers. And then pretty soon they're like, hey, maybe you should come and work for us. So I got this job as a developer, and I was just ecstatic. I was so happy. I was so thrilled. And it didn't last very long. I mean, I was happy. I did enjoy programming, and I have always enjoyed programming. But I at that point, I wanted more. Right. Eventually, what ended up happening was I got a higher paying job as a senior software developer, and then I was making great money, and I thought I would be happy, and I still I was like, I just see all these programmers that write these blogs and then write these MSDN magazine articles, and if I could just be one of those guys, then that would be awesome, right? And so I started writing my own blog, and very few people viewed my blog, but then eventually it gained some traction. Then I got on a famous podcast. I got on the Hansel Minutes podcast with Scott Hanselman, and and all of a sudden people started to know who I was. And then all of a sudden I was one of those guys. I was one of those famous software developers. I had this huge blog. I had this company, Simple Programmer. It was amazing. It was crazy. And then from there, I wish that I could quit my job, right? And if I could just quit my job. And so I worked on buying real estate and building up my personal brand. And, and then I wanted to be able to just blog for a living. And I actually got to the point where I was able to do that. And then I made videos and I made courses and I became famous. And then I wanted to publish a book. And I thought publishing a book would make me happy because now if I'm a published author, right? And then I thought if I made $1 million, I would be happy. And I thought if I finally quit my job and I was able to be financially free, then I would be happy. And that was actually when I was the most depressed in my entire life. When I quit my job, when I finally reached that goal, I was actually the most depressed. I was completely depressed. And the reason why was because at that point, I thought that I would be happy. I thought that after all of this work and achieving this major milestone in my life, this major thing, that I would have all the time to play video games and drink Mai Tais on the beach. And I went to Hawaii, and I thought I was going to live there. And I was miserable. I was miserable because I didn't have anything to go for. I had already accomplished the thing. And I thought that I would instantly become happy by achieving those things. And when you find out that you're not going to be happy, that this thing doesn't automatically make you happy, it makes you really, really depressed, because then you're like, what would make me happy? There's nothing, and I felt like that. And I felt like that for a long time until I started to figure out that it's not the goals, it's not what you get. When you set goals in order to get something, getting something will never make you happy. When you set goals in order to become something, that process is what makes you happy, right? Because growth equals happiness. If you want to grow, if you want to become happy, you have to focus on growth. That is the thing to focus on, right? And that's why it's like, even now, right? Even the last couple of years, I kind of lost track of that a little bit, right? As I started growing this business and built this business, and it stagnated. And I've talked about this, I did this video where I said I'm not doing okay. And I still have times when I'm not feeling it. However, I have figured out what is missing, what's been wrong here. And that's why I'm making videos like this now. If you've noticed, I just sent an email this morning that I wrote myself about what I wanted to talk about. And it actually was about this. It was about happiness. All right. And what I found was that just by growing, right? That is what really makes you happy. And if you're chasing happiness, you're never going to find it. This whole idea came from a conversation I had with my daughter last night. I was talking to her because she wants to be, this K-pop idol, right? She's 12 years old. All right. And, she's got some big dreams, because that's what she likes and it makes her happy to watch K-pop stuff. And so she wants to be one of those, but she was depressed. She was sad. She was in tears, and she was like, I just 6 years I have to wait, cause she's 12 until I can do that. And it's just, life is just pointless, and it's the same thing every week. And, I don't enjoy my life. I'm not having fun. And I was like, wait a minute, what are you, what are you doing? Like, why are you trying to rush through this next 6 years of life? Are you even ready to be capable? Like, do you even have your dance, and do you have your abilities in order to perform to be able to do that? Are you even ready? She's like, no, but I don't want to have to spend all this time not being happy just so that I can finally do that and be happy. I have to wait all this time. And I was like, wow, this reminds me of me. And I told her the story. I told her about how, in life, I've had just about everything that you could want in life at 43 years old, right? I have made money. I've had relationships. I've had, books published. I've run marathons and ultra marathons. I got jacked and got in shape and got 6-pack abs. I did pretty much all of the things that you could want to do. I became somewhat famous on the internet, on YouTube, right? Got status, I got these things, and none of those things made me happy. And I told her, I was like, look, if you think that becoming a K-pop idol is going to make you happy, you're wrong about that, right? She's like, oh, no, it will. This is the thing that I really want. And I told her about the story about how, when I finally became financially free, how I was the most depressed, right? And so I think that scared her a little bit. Then she was like, oh, well, how could that be? This is different. And I was like, no, it's not different. Everyone thinks it's different. Everyone thinks that when they get this job, they get this promotion, they get this girl, they get whatever it is, that they're going to be happy, but they never are. Right? That's why they keep on seeking, right? And so, we had this discussion and went back and forth a little bit, and then I think she started to get the idea of it, right? And she became a lot more happy. And I told her, happiness comes from growth. Like, if you enjoy dancing, do the dancing. Get better at it. Enjoy doing that thing. If you do the thing that you enjoy doing and you grow at that thing, that's what's going to give you happiness. But if you're chasing happiness, you're never going to find it. Happiness will always elude you if that's what you're chasing. Instead, just chase doing the things that you want to do. Just chase growth. Okay. And again, I have to remind myself of the same exact thing, because it's easy for me to chase money or to chase, I got to make this amount of money. I got to increase the business by this much. But, that's why I started this channel over, is so that I could start to experience growth again. Because I just want to chase the growth, right? Do the thing that I love doing and get better at that thing, and see the progress that I'm making with that. It's not about the numbers. It's not about the status, right? It's not about what other people think. It doesn't matter how many people view the videos or how much growth I get on the channel. I mean, those things are nice. That shows that I'm making progress, which is good. But the real question is, am I doing the thing that I love doing? Am I being authentic in what I'm doing? Am I enjoying this process? And I've started doing that as I'm recording these videos now, and having these conversations with you and talking to you about these things, and not worrying about, is this the right topic, or are people going to care about this, or am I going to be able to sell or market something from that thing? Okay. That's really helped. And by the way, I am still running a business. So I will tell you that I have some coaching slots available. I've made 10 slots available of my coaching. And right now, at the time of this recording, there are 6 taken up. There were some vacancies. So I've got 4 slots that are available. If you want to do one-on-one coaching with me, you can check out the page. You go to bulldogmindset.com/coaching. And you can apply there if that's what you're interested in doing. But yeah, let me know. I'm really excited to work with you one-on-one. If you want one-on-one advice from me on everything life related, financial, if you want to do financial freedom, if you want to build a business, if you want to invest in real estate, if you're looking for relationship help, mindset, all of those things, I'm happy to help you to develop a discipline to become the man that you want to become, and to find hopefully your happiness. If you're depressed, if you're upset right now, I understand. I've been there. I would love to help you to be able to accomplish what you want to accomplish in life, and to get to where you need to be internally in order to be happy. But anyway, the point is that, look, don't really take to heart what I'm saying here. Whatever it is that you think is going to make you happy. And I know that every single person, believe me, everyone I talk to thinks they're different. They think that for them, or it'll make them happier. It's not true. It's not true. I can promise you, right? Whatever it is, you will habituate to that. Even if you're like, oh, well, if I was a multimillionaire, I didn't have to work, then I would be happy. No, you will be happy temporarily. Okay. But you will habituate to that. That will become your normal. And then you will want more, right? The Stoics talk about this on my other channel, on Seneca's Letters to Lucilius. He talks about this a lot. He says that if getting more would make a person happy, then why hasn't it already? Because you've already gotten more. If you go back and you look and you say where you were before, where you are now, at one point you thought that would make you happy, and yet you're not. So why? And again, I could say the same thing to myself, and I do. And that's what a lot of these videos are. It's me. It's my therapy. I'm talking to myself here because this is important, right? So as much as I'm telling you, remember this and realize this truth, I'm telling me, remember this, realize this truth, John. Okay? No matter what it is, no matter what you think it is, that thing will not make you happy. Instead, seek to grow. Seek to do the things that bring you joy in life. Seek fulfillment instead of happiness. If you seek fulfillment instead of happiness, you'll find happiness as a byproduct of that. You might not always be happy in life, but you got to do the things that you feel in your heart you need to do, right? And when you're not performing your best. When you're not doing the things that you should be doing, right? I don't have to tell you. But you also have to live in the moment. You have to appreciate each moment as it's passing, because you don't want to fast forward your life. You don't want to move forward to that time when you have the girlfriend, or when you have the better job, or you have the money, or you don't have to work, or the weekend. You don't want to do that, because you will lose your life in doing that. And then when you actually get to that point, you're going to realize that you still want to fast forward even more. That you're not going to be happy. You're not just going to relax there. I don't know one single person that has accomplished a thing, achieved a thing, and now they're happy. Do you? Do you know someone who just said, well, once I achieved this thing, then I became happy? If you know someone, let me know, because I don't know not a single soul that has ever said that. See you tomorrow.